I'm Matt Jones, and I'm here to talk to you today about the Federated Arctic data work that we're doing at DataONE and UC Santa Barbara with collaborators across the DataONE network, focused on schema.org. As many of you are aware, Arctic and Antarctic data are spread across a really large number of data repositories across a number of different government and non-governmental agencies. And there's an initiative called POLDER that's been working on trying to come to agreement on how to provide a lightweight discovery mechanism for access to this broad polar data set. The focus has been on trying to use science on schema.org based metadata in order to federate information about data repositories and data sets. And these definitions are coming from an ESIP effort called Science on Schema.org that provides guidelines on how to represent schema.org metadata. These guidelines cover everything from identifiers and variables to the data catalog, distribution and access, coverage like temporal and spatial coverage, and funding and other information. And it provides an explicit set of diagrams showing exactly how researchers should fill out that metadata through a set of conventions. For example, it provides information about geospatial metadata representation and how you might use schema.org specifically for point coverages and other types of polygon coverages in your metadata. At DataONE, we've been harvesting this kind of schema.org information for the last couple of years, but we've really improved our systems for harvest and indexing of schema.org in the last 6 to 12 months. So we've been able to recently increase the number of fields that we index and search to include citation information, space and time, author, variables, and provenance. So in addition to the discipline-specific standards like EML and ISO metadata, we now harvest schema.org, and we've been able to onboard new repositories, including HydroShare, Bicodemo, and most recently the Netherlands Polar Data Center. So over the last year, we've increased the number of datasets in the data catalog from the Arctic about 20% to 120,000, representing about 32 different repositories. Some of those are quite large. The Pangea and NCI and Arctic repositories are all quite large, but the collection is providing diverse access to many repositories around the world. In addition to getting access to the data by being part of DataONE, these repositories have access to metadata assessment through a FAIR metadata metric, data citation, tracking and understanding, and a number of other services that DataONE provides. For example, we also represent variable semantics and try to map data sets that are coming in through schema.org variable representations to really understand the measurements that are being made and track provenance of data sets as well. So when we actually tried to harvest schema.org in the wild, we've come across a number of different issues. The DataONE open source system has been optimized in order to efficiently harvest a large number of different providers. We have sophisticated mechanisms for understanding when content's modified, when we need to go and generate new versions, and it allows us to harvest more often than daily. We've also figured out mechanisms to deal with the vagaries that happen across repositories, whether that's how they represent the schema.org context, how they represent lists, and deal with errors from malformed URLs and other kinds of problems. When we look across the set of repositories that are listed for the POLDER group that say that they're ready for schema.org, we've been able to harvest a number of those. We've also identified some common problems that are identified across many, including the absence of a sitemap, some challenges with not following the social guidelines exactly, and we really invite folks to reach out, and we are happy to talk through some of the issues that we encountered in trying to harvest each of these catalogs. Through this effort of harvesting schema.org, we've been able to build a prototype Arctic Data Federation search system. The search system allows a general metadata search across the entire global catalog. And it also allows us to build a custom faceted search. So this includes harmonizing the schema.org metadata with all the other metadata standards, providing an open search API that any people or institutions can use to access the whole collection. We provide hundreds of harmonized search fields and a web-based query builder for building a faceted search across the collection. So with that, I hope you find that the Arctic Data Federation prototype that we've built at DataONE is useful, and I'm looking forward to the discussion. Thanks.